So, I want to give you a scenario. You're 21, 22 years old, right? You're going to school. You're studying business. I feel like that's a really popular one nowadays. You've been at it for 2-3 years. Your grades are okay, not great, but you are showing up. You are trying. And not only have you showed up and trying, you realized I want to do something business related for, let's say you decided at 10 years old. You want to do something business related. You're like, I'm going to go to school for it. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to master it. I'm going to be great. And then you get to 21, 22. Like I said, you got okay grades. You know, but you're showing up every day. And then someone tells you, no, you can't do it. You're a bust. Get out of here. What? Wait, what do you mean I can't do it anymore? Nope, you're a failure. Can't do it. Sorry, your grades really aren't that good. We can't deal with you. We got people who have better grades, better transcripts. We're pushing you aside and they need to come up. And if I'm explaining this to you and you're listening, you're probably thinking it's like, well, that's stupid. Like, why would, like you can't call me a failure. I'm 21, 22 years old. How do you think Anthony Bennett feels? How do you think a guy like a Nerlens Noel feels? How do you think I couldn't remember his name, but the Pistons player who got drafted, let me know down in the comments, after LeBron, how do you think he feels? And what I'm trying to do is transition into the NBA draft and if guys should be allowed to come right out of high school or if they should be in college or what should the system be, right? And I've always stayed on the line of, well, I think he should be able to come straight out of high school, but if he goes to college, he should have to at least stay for 2 years to get an associate or something, right? And then the more I was thinking about it, as I'm like, you know, and not that you can't be considered a bust while you're in college, but how effed is it that if you decided to become a basketball player, you put in all this work and time, and because you didn't immediately click, you were considered a bust and a failure by 22 years old. Think about that. Like, and I think where people get confused is, and I know, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for myself, I simply did not work hard enough to become a pro basketball player. I understand that. I've learned to deal with that and live with that. That is what happened with me. But people, I don't think, realize there's a lot more Kevin Durants that never made it than just Kevin Durant. I don't think people understand that there is a lot of mothers who works 2 or 3 jobs. There's a lot of fathers who put in extra time and practiced with their kid. There's a lot of people who sacrifice time, money, resources. Kids who went outside and did 100 shots, 200 shots a day. Kids that went there and, I mean, literally gave so much effort. You could see them pass out in their backyard or pass out in their front yard. There is people who have given in so much time, so like invest so much of yourself, and they never made it, or they get there and they're a bust by 21. This all goes with the fact of like, and there's so many things that I think go into this and why it's not just the draft, but just how are you going to call someone a failure by 22 years old? How many of you right now listening would be considered a failure because you're not where you're supposed to be at 22? Here's another thing. It's also why Philadelphia, I think, is playing a really risky game. And now it might work for them. But when you are sitting there and you're tanking to get a number 1 draft pick, you're getting a 19-year-old. You are getting someone who isn't mature. I dare you to find me like a super mature 19-year-old, especially when you hand him a couple $1 million. You're getting someone who's not fully developed, whether it's his game or physically his body. Like, you're not getting the Tim Duncans anymore. You're not getting the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars who spent 3-4 years in college and learned and got to grow up in a less public environment. Like, half these guys, what sucks is like half these guys are stars, but like 13 or 14 years old. The media knows about them. The world knows about them. And so by the time they come to the NBA and it's like you're having a bad rookie season, then a bad second year, it's like, oh, wow, we've known about you for 7-8 years and you're not shit at this level. That's so wrong. I heard someone talk about Giannis and Anthony Davis, how they've never won a playoff series. They're 22 and 24 years old. But because they've been in the league since they were 19, they're 4 and 5-year veterans. And to compare anyone to LeBron is just wrong, because LeBron is the anomaly in this situation. He just is. Like, Kobe was an anomaly, and Kobe didn't peak until his 3rd year. Think about it. Think of how many great players you would not have if we lived by this. Oh, if you can't play by 22, 23, you're a bust, out the league. Chauncey Billups. I just said Kobe didn't pop until his 3rd year, even though there were flashes before then. You get a guy like Dirk, a guy like Steve Nash. Paul Pierce didn't have a great rookie season. Like, there is so many guys that if they had to play today would have been busts out the league, never would have been has-beens. That's wrong. You're not a bust or a failure by 22 years old, no matter what you're doing in life. Unless you've chosen to become a criminal. But anyway, as always, if you liked or heard anything that you saw, please subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. You subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Please give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.